Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, a time zone friendly welcome to wherever you're tuning in from right now all over the world. Welcome to the ESL 1 finals day here for Spring Championship Battlefield 4. Alongside me is Dogbert once again. Fantastic day yesterday. We're looking forward to today. 3 more matches from the group stage, semi-finals and grand final today. It's going to be an absolute cracker. As you can see on your screen, Group A and Group B were yesterday, but we do have some decider matches to come first thing today. We're going to kick off with those very shortly. But just your quick thoughts on yesterday and how it all panned out. We had a little bit of everything, a little bit of controversy, some great play by Fnatic in particular. Pyrogen looked solid, but maybe not spectacular, but made it through the groups. And then MYM and Dignitas was always going to be a fantastic fight. So what are your general thoughts on yesterday?
Fnatic obviously did exactly what they did last time, which was to walk through their groups. They didn't struggle until their second day. So, as usual, they have a very strong first day, dominant as usual. ESC, a team we're going to see later on soon, they pulled a bit of an upset. A lot of people thought that Pyrogen, obviously so strong in the last cup, would just come in and obliterate them. And it was a very tough game. They fought for everything they could there. And it was a 2-1. It was close. Pyrogen eventually, walked through, but ESC looked really strong.
Is there, on form, Fnatic looked like they're unbeatable, but then we saw that last season as well in the group stages. Just looks really, really good. Other than them, is everyone else beatable?
Yeah, well, I was actually just talking to Nick from Planet Key about this, and I think everyone kind of puts Fnatic up there as a very difficult team to beat, but everyone else below them can beat each other. It is very, very doable. It's just getting a good start and playing out from there. But everyone can beat everyone here. Right,
okay. Let's take a look at the group overview, and you can see both groups. Group A, Fnatic, Epsilon, Planet Key still in the mix. Fnatic winning that group. Epsilon and Planet Key will play out a little bit later on in the lower bracket final for the place in the semis. Infamous, unfortunately for them, the French side have gone home. In Group B, Pyrogen, Dignitas, MeetYourMakers and ESC are all still alive, incredibly. Dignitas wait for the first match of the day to be concluded to find out who they're going to play. A little bit of insider information now. Any preference for the team? Do they really want to play MYM again? Or, they've beaten them once, so I guess maybe they can beat them again. Or would they prefer ESC? Is that an easier tie for them?
I think from Dignitas' point of view, they'll just play whoever comes through. They probably expect to play MYM. I think a lot of people have been kind of really not giving ESC a chance, but it's really unfair. They had a very good game yesterday, so it's very possible.
Right, exactly. When you look at the match against Pyrogen, it was hardly a walkover, was it? It was hardly a big thrashing, so presumably they can still hang with these guys.
Yeah, it was the first game of the day for both teams, so, there's always a bit of nervousness on LAN, and there's a possibility that had something to do with it, but at the same time, these guys are pumped and ready to go.
Okay, yeah, they are. And talking of ready to go, they're almost ready to go for our matches. So let's take a look at the bracket now and show you exactly what's happened so far. Pyrogen, as you can see in the gold box at the top of your screen, 2-0, 2-1 winners in their first 2 matches. But at the bottom of half of the bracket, ESC now go head-to-head with MYM. The winner of that plays Team Dignitas, and the winner of that match will make it through to the semi-finals. It'll be down to just 4 teams. So this first match, it's do or die now. They had last night to think about it, work out what they were doing wrong in their previous games. MYM will probably feel they didn't do too much wrong against Dignitas. It was just a tough match and could have gone either way. ESC, on the other hand, there's no pressure on them. They really are the underdog, so I guess they just play with a bit more freedom.
Yeah, that's how they're going to come in this as wild as they can. Whoever gets a good start is going to dictate the pace. And, from MYM, they've been in really early today. As soon as the doors opened, came in, they've been practicing. These guys are really, really ready.
ESC on the screen right now with their lineup. Chasm, Jansen, XP Low, all had their moments yesterday. Which of these guys have got to step up today, though?
Explo does very, very well. He's one of those core players of the team. And yesterday, Jansen got a lot of key kills in very important places, and that really helped them in their game. So they need to step up today.
Yeah, MYM, let's turn our attention to them now. They had that difficult game against Dignitas, but they've got some stars in this team. We saw them last season. They are, after all, the defending champions. We keep talking about Fnatic and Epsilon, but these guys are the genuine article. They won the whole thing last season. Can they go through again? And they have to win 4 matches in a row today to take the championship. That's a tall ask, isn't it?
It's what they did last time. They lost their first game. They were in this situation last time, and they got all the way to the final, and they won a best of 5. And that's endurance for you. These guys have been here all day. And yeah, Ducky-chan and Punchroll, these are the guys that need to step up. They're the fraggers for the team. But they also need Safe to keep bullying them on, keep that pressure, keep the momentum going, keep the morale up, and that's an important part for MYM.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because we've got some prizes here on the table. These fabulous Razor goodies with Battlefield 4 all over them as well, so they're extra special. You guys at home can win these. All you need to do is vote by going to ESL-1.com and going to Battlefield 4, check the schedule, and vote on the team you think will win, with a little bit of help from Dogbert, I hope. Because you were very good with your predictions yesterday, unlike Lauren, I have to say. She'll hate me for that, but genuinely very, very good with your predictions. So if you're going to help those guys out, try and win the prizes, where do you put your vote?
Well, in our first 2 games, I'm going to go with MYM, with ESC. They're close by, and they're probably going to give me an evil eye, but, you know. But the Planet Key Epsilon game later on, that will be a difficult one. I'm going to go with Planet Key. Really? Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, we've all talked about... They'll help me for that as well.
Yeah, no, they will hate you for that, but that's fine. You know, you're going with the German support, which I think you'll get a lot of popular crowd support behind you. Thank you very much for that, and we'll speak to you a little bit later on. And as I said, make sure you get your votes in. You can also interact with us via all the usual social media channels as well. Of course, use the hashtag #ESL1 and introduce yourself to all the players, send your support messages, whatever you want to say. Comments are welcome as well via either Twitter or Facebook. And don't forget our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ESL. Almost time now for our first game of the day. It's a big one for both teams. ESC have had a fantastic season in all. They might not have qualified through the group stage first time round, but they are the reigning Go4 champions. Likewise, their opponents today are MYM. They are the reigning champions of the ESL 1. But one of these 2 teams now has to go home. Let's find out which one it's going to be with your commentary team, Lauren and Jason.
Thank you for that, Red Eye and Dogbert. And reigning champions, that is the story of MeetYourMakers right now. But they didn't look like they were the reigning champions yesterday. And funny enough, they're kind of following the same path that they did, obviously, last season as well, where they lost to Fnatic and they qualified second through groups. But again, we're in day 2. We've seen teams show up on day 1. There's a team, for instance, I'm thinking of in League of Legends that really doesn't do anything in day 1. But
then
day
when
2,
the challenge comes up, boom, suddenly they remember how to play the game. I know what you're talking about.
Hit these buttons.
I was pressing T all the time. Ah, damn it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Some of these teams do need the kick up the arse, you know what I mean? It's literally, sometimes they take it a little bit too for granted. They're like, it's only the groups, you know. We've got 2 chances. They scrape through and they kind of rest on their laurels. They get caught out, and then suddenly, oh Jesus, guys, okay, we almost got knocked out near on instantly. Let's suddenly remember how to play this game pretty damn fast.
And not to mention the winner of well, not the winner, but the second team getting through Group B will be playing against Fnatic too. So that's obviously not an easy feat here. But we're getting to the bans and picks. And what do you expect to see? And I think there's one thing that we can both agree on: Goldmud Railway will probably be banned out by MeetYourMakers, or will definitely be picked by ESC.
I think that's a very smart choice. I think even Safe smiling with that, that's going to be my first takeaway there. So fair play to them. Storm also, I think, being removed. A lot of close range maps being taken away from ESC. They're a team that like it fast and furious, pretty much quick on the rotates, and they're now left with maps with a little bit of distance, a couple more linear maps, a couple more spread out maps. And, I'm going to have to disagree with Dogbert on this. I think ESC have a lot of potential to do well here. MYM had a very quiet game against Dignitas, looked shaky. I think if they keep that in mind, it could be a game for ESC to make the most of. But Zavod being the first, I think we learn to expect that now. It's the kind of all-rounder of these. Dawnbreaker second, and then Dam, if needed, as the third. So it makes sense. Zavod is the all-rounder. You don't give away too much in the end. It's something you can depend on. That very few teams will have such a unique strategy that it'd give them such an advantage. You may look at maybe Pyrogen or someone along those lines for their fast rotates, their very pressurized play, which is kind of a French style. But I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys do on this and what sort of approach they take, because we've seen some very close scorelines and some very condemning scorelines on this. I think it's a bit of an extreme map. It's one or the other. I'm not sure how some teams do get those extreme scorelines, because everyone by now at this point has played each other. They know their styles. But for me, I think upsets could happen in this one. I think it may not happen on the first map. I think this will come down to a quite close ticket scoreline. especially on Zavod. We know what it's like. It can be 10 tickets, if that. So we'll have to see if that's the case here. I'm not too sure myself. My prediction will sit with ESC overall. I want to see, MYM do well. They're a great bunch of guys. I've been talking to them, a good fair amount in this, and they do want to do very well, and they certainly deserve it. Great team from last season, but they need to prove it wasn't a fluke. You look at other games and other scenes, let's say, and there's been these one winners who win this big tournament, and everyone's like, oh, that was a fluke. I look back to a very specific one in a different game, and it's like, since then, they've not been able to replicate it to the same effect. And now this, actually, score-wise, is looking very much in favour of MYM. So you guys at home clearly looking back at those previous results and going, do you know what, they've got this. But I look at the games we saw of them. So Dignitas against these guys. I was a little bit stunned that there was no kind of pace leading from MYM.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because both these teams on the two maps we're going to see first with Zavod and Dawnbreaker had ridiculously close games. And I was talking to Kazem actually after their game versus Pyrogen on that map, and they said, we should have won that map. Like, we had that map. I mean,
it came down to nothing near.
Pyrogen had 55 ticket lead in the first half, but the thing was, at the end of the second, it was so damn close even with that. And on even on Dawnbreaker, 16 ticket lead for Pyrogen on the end of that one. And not to mention, Dig versus MYM. MYM actually had a 17 ticket lead at the end of the first half of that one. So it's obviously going to be really close between these two teams. And you know what? I think I'll agree with you on this one. I think there's a high possibility for an upset coming here. At least within the community vote. There's a very small
margin of error. That's the thing to me. There's no room to make mistakes. And I think ESC have suffered at the hands of those small mistakes. Whereas but you just saw on your screens there, he's pumped up. He's been screaming for his team to do well. A quick run through the classes. Obviously, the engineer there for MYM, so looking to take away maybe a couple of the options that could give him a bonus on the cross towards B. But why don't you take us into the game, Jason?
Well, I'm actually watching exactly what you're trying to show us here with Safe. Is he going to destroy any kind of walls here? He's switching up to the law. Looks like he will, in fact, do that. So maybe give him that little bit of advantage in the beginning. He's actually using it more towards the middle, actually, instead of the far outside. But as we can see, it's already 1 or 2 men heading towards the A flank on the side of ESC. Baden and Jansen could be the first two to actually push in there. But 3 men on MeetYourMakers are sitting back at this A flag. That is really unorthodox because Punchroll is the only man at B right now.
Yeah, this is actually MYM knowing what ESC wanted to do, go for the quick pressure towards the A site, which is a smart move. They're drawing these two players back, leaving only 1 man on B, so unable to push towards C. These two, however, must win these 1v1s upcoming to really get this one down. Baden funding flags is going to help out, but look at this. They've claimed it. 2-to-1 hold, A and C, unique style, very French in its essence, but if they can hold it, they're in a great spot.
If they can hold it. I mean, right now we see MeetYourMakers spawn in 2 more people on top of Safe, so they definitely want to push back for that A flag here and take an easier 2-to-1 since they can get it to A a little bit quicker. But the 2 men on C, XPLO and Baden, they've just been sitting there for quite a while. They haven't tried pressuring B just yet here. And it looks like, again, a very unorthodox game. We see a lot of battling happening at A, which you typically never see anymore. It's always at that C flag where you throw bodies at them. But MYM going to be able to come out ahead with the 2-to-1.
Yeah, but you can see they're still fighting for this ESC. They're not done just yet, using the outside area to push round, but it looks like MYM are happy to meet them at the door. Janssen does go down. A second will follow. MYM are locking these guys out. 1 man stand. It's going to be Kazam pushing forward. He might get the revives, or he might go for a quick push towards the flag. Oh, he's dancing between the bullets. Gets the respawns through, and really well played out in the end, but they need to make this move through the window. Look at that usage of the engineering class, completely destroying and opening up the access towards this site, and now they can cause a real problem. Checking in with the overview, it's going to be MYM having to just kind of weigh up their options. Do we keep battling out on A, maybe a lesser site, or is it now time to focus towards C? The choice is theirs. It's down to how confident they feel. Let's find out which one they go for.
Well, once they will be heading towards C, and it's kind of funny. I expected that to happen a little bit earlier on, considering that they saw 3 or 4 men out of ESC were spawning over towards the A flag, so they could realize, hey, C's probably open. They finally start to go for the push here. Waffy going to be leading the charge with the help of his couple of teammates, and they have cleared out the people there. Lagzer and XPL both being dropped, and that will be the 2-to-1. The most favorable hold going over the side of MeetYourMakers. Look to your left side of your screen really quickly, because we're going to have actually 2 men pushing through the bottom side of B. Baden coming in as well as Punchroll. And so not punch, that was actually punch rolls getting taken out, but they're throwing some more respawns in there, and they want to take that B flag as quick as possible.
They definitely do. Still having 1 man at A is going to make it pretty damn good work, but Ducky's on a mission. He's already taken down one of the players fairly close to him. He needs to find a couple more, maybe find a safe spot after that to get some respawns, but running with the Famous, getting up in the faces of the opponents does take down Kazam, and he's really been chipping away at this, and perfect work coming out from MYM on towards B. And now Lagza needs to get towards C pretty damn fast if he wants to take it by himself, or he needs to kind of weigh up the options of, do I wait for respawns, do I play safe? Right now I think he played a little safer, got the respawns in mid, and decided to wait for some backup to focus down C.
And we're about, 3 minutes into this game already, and Kazam's actually still using the engineer class. He's still taking on a lot of these walls, as you can see, and they're able to rush straight into the C flag because they're going for the push onto the bottom side. And it looks like they will knock this down. They have lost 2 men though, and I was about to say, because I'm using the sniper there for a second. Let's try to switch up to law and maybe do a little bit more damage. But they have cleared out C. They're going to get the control of it. Next pill. Actually, no, he has some respawns in the lower. There's 1 man sneaking in there, and MeetYourMakers will hold on to it.
Yeah, that was a near-on squad wipe in the last couple of seconds, and this means they've only got A and a very treacherous cross towards B if they decide to take it. But it looks like ESC are taking on the French style of using mid a lot, happy with the inner buildings in their pockets. But right now, it's MYM adapting accordingly and playing smart towards it. 1 man has split off towards B, so that could give them a little bit of a draw away from C, so it could be that kind of a little bit of a bait play, but actually they've committed to it, and they're going to have to see how this one goes, because this is coming down to the wire. These tickets aren't far apart, considering now it's a 2-1 hold in favor to ESC after a near-on squad wipe.
Exactly, and well, we did have a 2-man push going into the side of A just recently out of MeetYourMakers. They got shut down though, and that was the response from this B push. They realized 3 guys are there, let's hit A, and they get completely shut down. We're going to see the scoreboard even up here very soon, but look at this. Look how many respawns are coming in, how many resources are being used on the side of MYM, and Punch are already getting taken down. They're still picking up the kills here left and right, and it's currently 24-21, so not a big kill difference between these 2 teams.
No, definitely not. It's not the kills that are giving the differences, really. It's about the fast rotates, the smart play. Right now, B is under threat from both teams. You can see Safe there is in trouble. Gets a quick revive, though. Perfectly done. He gets his teammate up, and it's going to push the advantage in favor to MYM on this site. And with only 1 man really standing here, Janssen now coming through the side. Not fancying his odds here, and actually they've just about cleared it out. Wafi went down, A left vulnerable, but smart play from Kazam there. They're going to pick up C, but I do want to hear how the comms are going, so let's actually tune in for a second while they did have that trip cap.
Botter on B.
Yeah, I'm going.
Pushing you.
Hit that, hit that.
1 more on B, in the middle of the flank. We're spawning on him.
Right side.
He's down. 1 in corner down. 2 down on B.
3 down total.
2 on C, 2 on C. Good job. Back up. I'm going to go back there. I'm going to go back there. I think they get random spawns on A. They're spawning A cargo. Yeah.
Protect A.
I think, no? Yeah, we'll just watch out. Maybe he's above you and Stumpers hiding. Do that A. Nice, Ducky! Fucking beast! I can't do shit.
Beep. I mean...
clearly pumped up. Obviously, that was MYM there, and you can see the impact of how important information is. It's the difference between knowing where those random spawns are and where they're not. And it made such a difference towards where they reinforced then. But it has meant they've expected the random spawn coming in for ESC, which would be right up around this point. They reinforced A little early, and they've left it fairly vulnerable because they rotated off it. So right now, it's opened up a possibility of ESC picking this flag up.
The thing was, you heard them, say, nice Ducky for picking up those 2 kills on that push to A, but what do they do off of that? They died in turn. They weren't able to push into any of these flags here, and they actually, lost that 2 cap pretty heavily right there. But they're finally pulling it back. 76-61 tickets. They have B, they have A here, and they're shutting down the push onto A flag at the same time. Baden trying to help out his teammates, who's gonna be 1 man off to his right, 1 man actually in the flag. And it looks like he's just waiting for some respawns, and so playing more of a a thoughtful game here, not trying to just rush in and die. And well, unfortunately for him, he'll get taken down before his respawns can even happen.
Yeah, and I want to tune in over on the ESC side. Obviously, they're down a good couple of tickets now. Let's see how the pressure's getting to them.
Yeah.
1 more B.
Yeah,
spawn
1 more B.
Spawn for me.
Yeah. 1 guy in the pipes.
Spawn for me, please.
Yeah, I'm spawning.
2, left side and right side.
1 mid pipe spawn. In the middle. Mid B.
Go for
1 C gate. Go for A, guys. Still on B.
There's 2 guys. You need to go around. You need to go around, guys.
Yeah. Go for A.
Let's go.
1 B gate. Guys, go for the scene actions, guys. Come on.
Take random, guys.
Rotate in. One guy in the middle, pipes. Going behind. Let's spread out a bit. Let's spread out a bit.
Go for. Are you going A or like?
Yeah, we need to go A.
Go A.
Come on, guys.
In A flag. Behind us, gate.
They're behind us. There's
one now behind us.
One more behind B. And on the other side on A. On the other side on A.
Watch out, she's coming through.
Yeah, that's 2 at A.
One pushing. We need to go past the flag.
We need to go B now. We need to one pushing. I'm saying it.
Clearly knowing that the tickets are not looking good right now. Scrappy, very fast-paced calls. Puncher picking up the AEK, looking to rip to shreds anyone in his path. And it might even be a trip cap to end with. This is not looking good for ESC.
And during the course of us listening on comms with them, they dropped about 60 tickets. I mean, it was pretty close before that moment happened, but they were just dying every single point. They weren't able to get 2-cap anywhere, and it looks like they will unfortunately be losing this first half after, you know, competing so well and keep things so close for the entire time. Just getting wiped out at the end. Going to be dropping down to 0 here in just a few seconds, but 73 tickets if they decide to hold their respawns here. That is a good start for MeetYourMakers. That is what they needed to really kick things off here and really get pumped up.
Yeah, the start of the game felt extraordinarily even then. MeetYourMakers and ESC on a fair kind of level. And I've got to say it, ESC were playing a very French style, in my opinion. You know, when they use the AC hold, they're happy to be through mid. But then as soon as MYM learned that's how they wanted to play, instantly there's your problem. That's when it comes around. They were struggling to maintain it, and then B was very scrappy. You heard them calling you, respawn on me. Jansen then was shouting, get the spawns on me. No one spawned in on him for a couple of seconds. They were late to it. They couldn't push it onto B fast enough. And it's a little bit of a lacking communication, if not execution on their behalf and their side, really. So I'm a little bit worried for them. Hopefully they can just kind of look at this map like, okay, well, you know, it didn't work out to plan. Players like Ducky and Wuffy were on fire, 14-4 for Ducky. You heard them shouting it out there at the end. But, you know, they need to kind of take this as it is. MYM played very well. They adapted and they overcame. ESC need to kind of come back to basics a little bit. Focus on winning those 1v1s, you know, roaming a pack rather than these kind of singular players being out on a limb. And we'll see how it goes. Obviously, Jansen on your screen there was the man shouting for those respawns and desperately hoping they'd have come in on B, but wasn't to happen. But second half, you know, new side, let's see what they start with.
What's scary to me is actually see Safe smiling there. Because I don't think we saw that once yesterday from their games. And obviously, we said before, he's an integral part to their team. When he's pumped up, when he's doing well, their entire team does well. And they really feed off his energy here. And I really wonder what's going to happen. I want to see in this one. I mean, 70 tickets. It's not the worst you can have on this map, but it's definitely nowhere near the best. And, you know, that's going to be very hard to overcome. That's pretty much half the tickets that you lose out on just from the get-go here. So if ESC are going to do anything, they have to do it early. And that comes down to Kazam. Is he going to run that engineer class again? Is he going to destroy any of these key walls? And we will find out here in just a few seconds as this one's going to be kicking off. And, you know, really quickly, do you think ESC can do it here? I mean, do you think they have what it takes?
70 tickets is really damn high. Once you get down to the 60s and the 50s, you've got a real damn
It's a big mental game there, too.
It is. Obviously, you can do the same back to you, if not better than the previous, but it's not simple in the slightest. You can see the same similarities of play here, with actually MYM focusing on towards A. So you can see these guys are out, kind of stratting each other out. It's going to be an initial ESC 2-1, but with the numbers game they have, A looks vulnerable, and MYM should pick this up. But we'll see how it goes down in those 1v1s, but still, to me, I think the scoreline's quite high. If they go down to the 60s or 50s, it could have been anyone's game. Right now, I've got to say, MYM look like they're out for blood.
And I really want to hear ESC's comms as well right now. Just really quickly, obviously we used it in the last game, but just kind of see what's happening, because right now they have to do something quick. They cannot let this game slip, and I can just guess there's going to be a lot of commotion going on.
Come on, guys, don't see.
Big gate!
Upper C.
Mid, big gate.
Upper C still. One down. One guy down, one more down. One more on the upper C.
Yeah, 2 more. One of the.
I spawned on the ground.
And you can just hear, I mean, the kind of desperation within their voice. They realize they need to cap something, and not only something did they get, they're going to get a tri-cap here just for a split second, maybe even a little bit longer than that, because right now MeetYourMakers MeetYourMakers get a tri-cap. Sorry, I got confused on the colors there. I'm not colorblind. They're getting the tri-cap, and right now the tickets will just be bleeding away from ESC. They need to cap over something right now, or they're just going to be completely shut down. And, you know, the morale of the team, I would imagine, has to be really low because coming back from this, from being tri-capped, is very difficult to do, even though you can switch it around. But look at this. They almost wipe ESC out. They're going to maintain the tri-cap for even longer. And I want to say this is almost going to be it.
It might be. And Ducky Chan doing what he's doing. He's 8-0 right now. And he doesn't look like he's gone down just yet. But he's got 2 players finally heal 4. But he has been ripping the opponents to shreds. And right now, those tickets are looking very low for ESC. I'm going to have to listen to MeetYourMakers in this instance because they've got to be pumped up here.
A-gate, A-gate. They're spawning for B.
D-flag, watch
yeah.
A-gate.
Double tank.
A-gate down.
Nice.
I got 2 on B, I got 2 on B.
Nice!
I'm pressing you, punch.
Keep it up. Coming up, rocket.
Watch out from the tunnel.
Yeah. He already passed.
Check B. Tunnel.
Tunnel.
One platform.
2 middle.
One platform, one tunnel.
On the A flag.
I got shot from
2 platform.
pushing many A. One sneak for C, one sneak for C.
platform,
Sneak for C.
I'm sneaking.
1 on A, 1 on
Sneak
A.
and wait for spawns.
Like door.
Let's see if we can defend A first.
Yeah, 2 platform.
This one on C flag.
Coming middle
Yeah.
to C. Middle.
Go. Alright. That one down
One
C.
more. Is that?
2 down C.
Nice.
This is how you do it, baby.
Upper mid.
Execution is absolutely perfect for these guys right now, and you can see it reflected in the tickets. 124 to 95. ESC have lost that little bit of a spark they had previously, and the likes of Ducky Chan on fire, Punch Rule as well, really stepping up the game. I think I'm seeing smoke being used, not sure why, but it's not looking great for ESC here. I think they know this map is done and dusted. They need to be looking towards the next one.
Yeah, I mean, they have to. They're still 2-1 capped. If they're going to do anything, they have to push right now, and they have to eat away at 122 tickets with only about, what, 10 to use, and that's pretty much almost impossible at this point. Obviously, it could happen. There's always that chance. But again, I mean, it's the first game in this best of 3. There's always a chance for them to come back a little bit later on, and these next couple of deaths coming in, it looks like that will be it here. And now that means when we go into Dawnbreaker, that map, I feel like favors MeetYourMakers quite a bit.
Yeah, it's one of those linear maps. We saw their execution. Very well played. MeetYourMakers, I've got to say it, they were clinical with their play. When Punch Rule split out towards C, playing smart, playing carefully, literally being told by Safe then, wait for respawns. We will be on you in a second. Don't you worry. Just stay safe, play smart, sneak around. And that's exactly what Punch Rule did. He waited for them to try and win out on A. They lost it.
He didn't even need to wait, too, because he
could have done it himself.
But the point stands.
He pushed in. He got, a tag onto the first who was on the stairs, waited for his teammates to back him up. They got the kill. He got the one down lower. There's C. Perfectly done for them and very well executed all in all. So credit to them on their second half made them look like the MYM that can be extraordinarily dangerous. However, ESC looked like a little bit of a shadow of their yesterday performance.
That makes me wonder, were they preparing for Pyrogen? Is that why? Were they specifically looking at that game in the beginning and kind of, using all their energy towards that one? Because I know they didn't have a lot of time to practice come into this. I believe Kazam was traveling a lot for a business and wasn't able to really be with the team. But like you're saying, shadow of the former selves, they look completely different against Pyrogen earlier on yesterday. And that always goes back to the whole thing of, anti-stratting some teams. And, Pyrogen walked over Dignitas, but they struggled against ESC kind of thing.
This is my thing. It's the age-old, you'll always try and aim at the top, but you'll never expect that 4th place team to be the one to take you out. It's one of the... I thought he was flexing there.
I thought he was too. I thought he was like, I got some big muscles.
Damn, but no, it's always the way you look at it. You always look at the top team. You look at I always look at NIP, for example. Yeah, it's a different team. I don't know. But no, NIP. Everyone knew how they played. Everyone anti-stratted them to death because they were the best team in the world, and everyone will always look at the best team. Pyrogen throughout the season have been one of those best teams. MeetYourMakers, not so much. So it's very easy to prepare. So now on the second map, Dawnbreaker, it's a little more standard, but you need that smooth, clinical execution. If these guys can pull this one off.
We'll find out indeed here. And well, right now, I think you saw yesterday a little bit of strategy used by them. Kind of get a little bit of a couple-second advantage, and we'll see how well they can actually use it for their side. Oh,
they just failed the jump? It. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's what you get. But actually, it could be a little bit of a counterplay anyway. They did get closer, obviously, towards that C point. They might go for a straight street sweep, but they also have left A completely open. This is, I'm not sold, MeetYourMakers, but who am I to judge when you've got Ducky Chan and Flax doing the job?
Yeah, they're getting the kills too. I mean, yeah, A hasn't been capped over. I think ESC realized that, but the one man that's over there, it's going to be because I'm actually taking his time, and Ducky Chan, well, going to be starting to work through dog walk here. And going to be actually rotating back around. They realize A is still open. They still have potential to cap it, but I think with seeing that it is turning over to the side of ESC, then maybe they're going to rush into this B flag. And, well, Ducky Chan will pick up one, and he has pretty much single-handedly cleared out this A5. There's going to be 1 or 2 more men coming from his right side. But we've already seen him before, obviously, attacking so many different flags on Zava that he can take these things.
Certainly can, toying with one of the opponents there, trying to dance around, buy time, and he's doing it perfectly, but you can see the rest of his team are getting set up on B and C. He will now probably retract back to a slightly safer place, get some support from his teammates, and then start pressuring again. It's this kind of smart play that MYM get into, this very nice execution. There you go. You can see him picking up Kazam there, follows it up with another. And my word, this man is absolutely on point today. He didn't have the biggest of games yesterday, apart from one when he went absolutely huge. And I think we're seeing that Ducky Chan turning up this time, hunting down the rest. He's found their spawn. He gets the... He got the double and got the exchange with Kazam as well. He's doing so perfectly. And look at this. They held back, waiting to see if C was going to be taken, and then executed on A. So they can once again exchange and get the perfect setup.
Yeah, it's a fantastic read by them, and you heard them, like you said before, on Zap, but they were waiting. You know, let's see if this push on A works. If it does, or if it doesn't work, let's hit C really quickly with that sneaky play, and they're reading into ESC very well. And that track up, it lasted for a little bit here, has given them, 16 ticket advantage. But with that 2-1 being quite extensive so far, this lead is going to get even further ahead for them. And right now, ESC, they're not really getting the kills. I mean, you can see 6-14 so far.
But the important kill came in here. Wafi going down has opened up the catwalk to maybe weaken the defense on towards B. Hence why we're seeing 2 players now freely push towards this, but it will kind of bring in these random spawns for MYM. Able to pressure C and retract players away from holding B. This is smart play once again from Ducky Chan, the MYM side, maintaining a good ticket lead and be able to pick up a C flag to boot. Even though ESC were in the best possible position to make a 2-1 happen, they just didn't do it in time, and they're being punished by MYM for it.
Punished, and the thing is, they're holding 2 men at A here. They're keeping this C and A hold, and they're pulling it off, funny enough, here. And now XPLO looks like he might try to work towards A flag here in just a bit, maybe with a couple of respawns coming in as he picks up another kill right there. But still, I mean, the damage is being done right now. They're down about 30 tickets so far, and he gets killed from dog walk right now. And MeetYourMakers, they can push into A, or they can just switch around to B because there's no one there right now except Kazam over on catwalk.
Oh, let's see if they can even get down A. Right now it's looking fairly clear. You can see Kazam will be this key factor here. He might get some respawns towards him so they can try and play retake, but already look at this street presence from MeetYourMakers straight away, getting up into the face of the opponents. Kazam did find one, quickly eliminated, and B is still, once again, I'd say firmly in the hands of MYM this time. Even though there are players moving in, they're so good at just keeping the pressure applied that it's making ESC struggle to find that comfort zone. They've never been set up once, and you can see it happening again. Flax moves in, B is near on open, Wafi takes down Explo, and that's pretty much the defensive team just being ripped to shreds. Baden was the last man standing, and this is not looking good for ESC here.
And last one saying over at this A flag, and you actually see him just kind of ditching away from it. He's actually running back, I guess, waiting for the respawns to come in. But MeetYourMakers, they're being a little bit aggressive. They see the back spawns or the random spawns come in towards the C flag. I'm assuming they're going to be able to hit onto A here in just a few, as you see the C being capped over in just a second. But right now, ESC, they seem to be struggling. They seem to be grasping for any flag they possibly can.
Definitely are. Baden there trying to keep hold of A, but he's been overwhelmed and there's been nowhere near a fast enough push-up. MYM are keeping 2 players on this catwalk, just constantly never leaving B alone. There's never been a moment of rest for ESC to be able to get anywhere. So right now, MYM are moving back in to reassure themselves towards B, because they knew that ESC would be pushing up from C. Explo's still hanging around here. He's trying to keep the attention of a couple of players, but obviously you're not doing too much work when you're just running around. But now the respawns are coming in. They can try and find a little bit of a challenge, possibly. And at the moment, it looks like MYM's even going to win those. So 2-1 looking pretty bad at the moment.
You mentioned Ducky Chan earlier on, as he's currently sitting at 9-6, but look at Flax. Typically don't see him put numbers like that, but he's 14-1. That is ridiculous. I mean, it's just phenomenal play by them. You look at kills 16-33 in favor of MeetYourMakers, and right now they have about a 40-50 ticket lead in ESC. They are struggling, and we're gonna have to tune in and hear what they're gonna say again, because they need something now. They cannot afford to lose this half, because that will mean they're 1 half away from being dropped out of this entire tournament.
Come on, guys.
Do an A.
Focus on the flag.
Yeah, there's one on A.
I got down! Nice.
Oh, one at C.
Random.
C, and then I'll spawn
you're
high
leaving
ground.
the flags, please. Come on.
One high ground and one in front of TV.
One upper connector.
Check random.
Dark room, upper connector. Still dark, TV room.
Go for a flag now, guys. And
Yeah.
Behind flag.
Defend it, please. One A
TV
long.
and behind flag. Upper connector and lower connector. Do a high ground as well.
And I think one thing that we are hearing within their comms, at least, is that they're very frustrated right now.
Yeah, they really are, and it's because they're not able to defend these sites. As we've said, every single time, MYM are having a plan to take it back over, and I want to tune in with that side on the verge of taking a huge lead in the second map here.
B house.
Bob down.
I'm gonna go A.
B house really weak. I'm gonna take the B flag, okay?
Take it
One
easy.
is flanking bush. One is flanking bush.
Two corner. One corner, one B house. One corner, one B house.
8 in corner.
Yeah. Overlook weak.
One down B house.
Corner dead. Corner dead.
Take the flag.
Sunsters.
I take B flag.
Bush.
Nice.
One bush.
Yeah.
Bush is
Coming
here.
in.
Two bush.
Go C safe. Go C safe.
They're pushing me. One down.
Yes. 27 health.
Yeah.
B
One more
house.
bush.
You run back.
Two bush.
He's maybe circle now.
Main star. One on the B flag. One on the B flag. Come on, guys. Go to C someone.
I'm on A.
Me. 2 on bush and 1 on the B flag.
Well, keeping focused, clear comms coming through, and well, actually, for once, we're seeing ESC in a good position. It's taken them a huge amount of their tickets to get here, but actually, they're very well set up to hold this beat. They maintain on the street with Janssen here. They can deny the bush position that you constantly heard MYM talking about, which is up here, that we saw a couple of players really claiming as their own, but at the moment, MYM are being held back, but the random spawns come into effect, and they need to be able to defend this. ESC was struggling before with this sort of problem, and it seems to still be riddling them with issues. So hopefully, you can see it. They overcommitted towards defending C. They left B completely open. It's not looking good now.
It's not, and the respawns are coming from ESC on top of that flag as well. And right now, MYM looking at potentially, a 90-ticket lead here in the first half. And they finally have gotten that 2-1 back in their favor here. ESC, they are struggling right now, and if they want to have any hopes to stay alive here in the group stage, they need to get this 2-1 hold. They need to bleed away as many tickets as they can from MeetYourMakers, and I want to say they need to get them down to about 50 to 60 tickets if they want to have hopes, because seeing a 90-ticket difference between your team and theirs is a huge mental game, and you're never going to win that one because it's just so devastating.
It certainly is, and Flax 21-3, outstanding performance for the team, going for a solo cap flag cap even. God, I can't even use my words, but 91 ticket lead is disastrous for ESC. Looking at that coming on the second half, that's near on impossible. MYM never relented. I think I saw one moment where ESC could have done something, but with a player on absolute tilt like this guy right now, Flax, what are you gonna do? ESC look frustrated, and I can tell as to why.
You heard in the comms as well, there was, I'm not sure who the voice was, but he was like, what? There's C. Like, he didn't really expect them to, spawn from behind him, and it's just, I guess, a lack of communication, a lack of control around the map as well, where you're pushing and letting the team spawn in, and you see MeetYourMakers safe, looking happy yet again. I mean, they should be, because of that performance was just spot on. I mean, you mentioned it, Flax, 21-3.
Unbelievable.
Take-A-Chan 18-10.
Yeah, normally you'd see like an 18-10 as like the top limit of what you generally get, but you can see the kind of effect a 21-3 scoreline or, a result or kill to death ratio can have against a team. These guys are just looking downhearted after such a close game previously yesterday. Just not been able to really show up. They look nothing like the team we saw before. The thing is, they were here earlier than all of us. They were there practicing when I walked in, and I haven't seen that coming through.
Oh, what can we say? I mean, obviously they're not happy with their performance so far, but I think it was too easy. Said on Twitter earlier on today that he thinks ESC can beat MYM.
Yesterday's ESC could have beaten yesterday's MYM.
Yeah, I think
that's the best way to put it. This team. Go and watch the VODs back, is all I'm going to say before you think I'm lying parlously to you guys, because they're not performing like they did. And I can see where, obviously, Too Easy's coming from, because I thought they'd do the same. You can only go off what you've seen in offline environments. And they haven't looked good today. You know, they're the backward team who do great on the first day and then just kind of fade away on towards today's game. So anyway, we will be going into the second half though, so I hope they can maybe pull something back together, maybe, you know, put the pieces of whatever went wrong kind of in position and try and find whatever they need now.
Well, it's going to be very difficult to do. I mean, we talked about 73 tickets being a massive lead and being really daunting, but 90, honestly, even more if I could do math correctly, and I in fact did for once. But we're kicking this one off here. ESC going to be moving in towards the B flag, yet again, sending one man around towards C here. And Baden actually using the interesting class right there. The engineers have really tried to blow up some side of cover right there, but it didn't really work out for him. I mean, he got taken down, and I'm not really sure he's actually going for in that.
It was an all-in strategy. It looked like they'd kind of worked out what they wanted to do, but they didn't take into account that you're still going to have to one-on-one someone after you've clearly given away your position, which not probably the best thing in the world to go for. Not sold on it, but anyway, it's a BC hold. No surprise to MYM, who've been looking dominant so far, and they're looking like they want to carry on. They're leaving the opposition just up towards A, and there's not much you can do if you're just up there and you haven't got control of the street, and especially catwalk. So they're going to be funneled in here, and it's going to be a bit of a bruising until they break out.
Bruising is maybe an easier term as well, but they were able to pick up a kill on the C. They're able to actually turn that one over here just a few seconds. Safe, though, going to be coming on the side. Let's see if he can pick up this 1v2. That would be a huge win for them. He does get the first one. He's still using that cover. Nade coming in. Will it be enough? As he does actually get taken down from the back lag, so they're going to be able to pick that one up and secure C. So they have the 2-1. But now, for how long? Remember, they don't have that many tickets to work with. They're sitting on 54 tickets. Or sorry, actually less than that, 40 tickets to work with right now. And it's every death they take is just making it even harder for them.
Yeah, let's see how that's affecting the guys right now.
I'm watching the MYM. Wasn't there one more? I don't know, he's hiding maybe.
They're spawning circle. Catwalk, catwalk.
Crossing the bridge, crossing the bridge.
I got the bridge. One upper connector. They're under bridge, Ace there, Ace there.
Two Ace there, one dead.
One on C.
I'm gonna jump down behind Ace there.
Watch out, overlook.
One Ace there.
Oh my god, this fucking nade, that's so
moving
bad.
back to A.
Clearly getting a little frustrated over on the MYM camp, but you know, they're still doing very well for themselves, and I've got to just show you the contrast at the moment because we're very close to this being over. ESC now, let's see how it's going.
A long down.
Nice, guys.
Let's
Watch for spawns.
Got two down A.
I'm taking B flag.
Yeah, I'm going for dark.
One guy down B.
Behind A. A spawn behind A. B.
Yeah, two spotted. Come on, guys. They're spawning 2 man A. C.
One down A.
One down C. One more at C. Wait for him, Pat.
We have nobody at the B flag.
Yeah, I'm near B.
There's 2 guys behind A.
2 at C, guys.
One is going
One low.
high ground, I think.
I'm staying TV.
There's
2 guys
one down
spawned
behind
somewhere
A.
gallery.
There's one more behind A. One more, he's low.
B long.
He's down, one down. Yes, behind A.
One down, B long.
2 guys down C.
Nice. B long down.
Going high ground. One on C. One spotted, 2 guys spotted at C house.
Yeah.
C off gallery. 3, 4 guys. 5 guys. Gallery. A lot gallery. One down gallery. One is up, going up a connector. Upper connector.
One in office. One on office.
Down.
Nice.
More upper connector.
One down.
Take a random, someone. Take a random.
Wait.
Kazan, take a random.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a random.
One over pushing. One more.
One more, 2. One more down. One down, upper connector.
There's one more upper connector.
TV room. There's 2 guys in TV room.
The TV. One on TV.
One down.
Punch through as well.
In flag, low connector, in flag down. I'm out of ammo, spawn on me, I'm out of ammo.
Look, down.
Spawn, I need spawn, please spawn on me. No,
Yeah.
good. I got.
One guy down our connector. Nice. Come on, guys.
One more C. Kazam, I go. You need to stay, Kazam.
I don't want to say anything just yet, but they've worked out a lot of tickets there, and they're really turning this game around. And I'm not sure if they can do it, but 63 tickets now with MYM, they're looking quite low.
37 kills to 19 as well. I mean, look at that. They have 24 tickets to work with here. They've only lost on about I'd say 16 the past 3 minutes, or at least 2.5 minutes. And I know they're doing a fantastic job. They're going to pull TriCat back yet again here. If they can keep picking these kills, if they can keep that communication going, and they definitely could pick this one up and take it to map number 3. Now 50 tickets to go here, and you can see ESC are really fighting for this one.
Yeah, there was a big chance going through here. MYM have broken through towards A. They need to kind of get themselves back to be able to defend this. ESC must hold on. They cannot let a 2-to-1 happen against them if they want to turn this one around. You can see these guys are reinforcing themselves over on MYM, looking and waiting for the push. Oh, Expo's actually moving away from the side. This could be disastrous. They've got the backup plan down here, but still, Expo needs to be smart in this situation. He's trying to get away. He's trying to get to cover, trying to do something intelligent, but right now there's 2 players spawning in towards that B house, and at the moment, ESC will be surrounded. Flax goes down. Laxa finds a second perfect play, but can they hold on? Can they maintain this 2-to-1? This is getting extraordinarily close.
And we talked about, you know, Waffy having a great game, or sorry, Flax having a great game last time, but look at the score currently on the man. That is Laxer, 20-2. He's having a phenomenal game this half, and he's really helping carry their team. They have 20 tickets to work with, but MeetYourMakers only have 30. Somehow they're turning this one around, but they're going to lose a 2-to-1 hold here. They have to do something quickly, or they will lose it on this game.
Yeah, they've kind of hedged their bets. They put 2 towards A, 2 towards B to keep them busy. Explo will be in here, but here comes Punchroll, comes around the side, gets one, gets the second. My God, Punch might have just saved the game here for MYM, and now they are in dire straits. ESC have nothing. They have absolutely nothing here. They're going to be trying to get back towards here. This could be a triple cap if they don't defend C. This could be game over. They tried everything they could. They were on the verge of doing something incredible. 99 tickets. They have only 8 to play with. B is being challenged. C's been left. Kazam needs his kill. He must move in, get the revives, get everything he can. 6 tickets. They've lost out on B, though. This might be too little too late. They did what they could when they could. But sadly, MeetYourMakers just looked that bit too strong. Final push will come through. They're playing to the absolute limit here, but they must take this site or it's game over. 2 tickets now remain. It's all they have to work with. And this will be ESC leaving us if they don't get this one done. Oh, perfect play, though. 92. They're holding on just, but can they keep this up? Somehow, on the very verge, 91-24. They have 1 ticket to work with. I don't know if I can even watch this.
Well, I'm going to watch it if you don't, then, as you see Flax trying to pick up a kill from the high ground. It's taken out for the back here. Still that 1 ticket to work with, and they brought MeetYourMakers down another 15. They could pull this off if they can just stay alive, but they're losing control of B. But look at that. Kazam is capping A at the same time. They're still going to maintain the 2-to-1. They stop this push onto C. They will do it. They cannot use another respawn, though.
2 players now remain for ESC. They have the 2 flags. They're losing out on C. They know this game is near on out of their hands. Any kills coming in against them will seal the deal. But look how close this got. 9 tickets remaining for the opponents. But it's just Kazam, and it's too little too late, sadly. And MeetYourMakers have done the job, but ESC tried so damn hard. But in the last couple of seconds, MeetYourMakers stepped up and finally did the job.
You know, I'm a little bit worried for MeetYourMakers. Actually, maybe not worried, but...
Even Epsilon going, that was a bit too close in the background.
And you got to give credit to ESC. That was a fantastic turnaround in that game. You heard their comms really, you know, chaotic in the beginning, but it helped. Maybe they thrive in that chaos, and unfortunately, they just couldn't do that earlier on. Maybe they did that on Zavod or did that in the first half. This would be a completely different game, and honestly, they can come out with their heads held high, at least showing up at the last, you know, little bit, the last tail end of their strive here at the tournament. But now that does mean they're going to be out here. We're going to have a rematch with MeetYourMakers and Dignitas.
Big game coming up. It's very hard to read into what we just witnessed because that looked like MeetYourMakers back on a very high plateau. But towards the end of that final map, ESC arrived. Perfect cohesion, brilliant individual performance from specific players. But why could they not have done that sooner? You know, when it can come down to those small margins of error, as we talked about, 9 tickets is the difference of seeing that cup being ripped away from you or getting that little bit closer. And I feel for ESC, but if they'd only done that, you know, brilliant work a little sooner, they might have dethroned MYM. But MYM stayed strong and did the work.
The thing is, I don't think they're sitting there like, guys, I figured out how we could have won that. If we did that earlier, we had it. You know, it was just something that kind of in the heat of the moment, you kind of get really pumped up. You get that adrenaline flowing that you can really play out of your skin. And you can see just the faces on both teams. They are so focused on this one. You can see Kazam, obviously the closest to your screen on ESC. You can see everyone putting their hands on their head, you know, realizing that, oh, we're now out of this. But still, a fantastic game. One of the best ones we've seen so far in, you know, these 2 days for the playoffs and probably the entire season.
Yeah, and credit to Kazam, the last guy that was, well, the closest guy to us on the camera then. He did that that really smart split at the end. You know, they knew they were losing out on C and B. He went solo up to A. He claimed it back and got them a couple more seconds. And 9 tickets remaining by MYM. If only they'd stayed alive one more time, that could have been a completely different picture.
Maybe, who was that man that came in from MeetYourMakers' side? Was it Ducky that picked up a 2-kill? Like, just kind of straight up?
Exchange.
If he didn't pick up those 2 kills, it would have been different.
It could have been different from the entire start of this. It's very frustrating for ESC, I can imagine. But MYM, they fought hard, and considering they even, you know, dealt with the barrage that was coming against them, credit where it's due. All
right, well, that's going to be it from us. We're going to head over to Red Eye, who's going to have an interview with the voice of the team at MeetYourMakers. It's going to be Safe.
Thanks very much, yes, with Safe. Congratulations. That was very nerve-wracking at the end. I think you guys were genuinely like, wow, where has this come from? Talk me through what was going through your brains when you were so far ahead and it looked like it was going to be easy, and then ESC just played such a great second half.
To be honest, I don't know what happened in the end. We lost control. We're like, it's just typical MYM. Just like first season, we win the first round big, and then we just relax the second round. We're like, oh, it's already GG. 90 tickets, it's impossible. But we got punished, and we barely made it. But we are really happy now. So we're happy, but ESC, they're our friends, and we really like them a lot. So it's kind of sad, like we're the team to kick them out.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. There were some hugs and exchanges afterwards, and you're having some fun.
We have really good relationship with ESC. So we're gonna party a lot after this. So we're gonna get drunk.
Good to hear. Before you do that, Team Dignitas are next. Lower bracket game. This is almost identical to what happened to you guys last season. You know, you drop down to the lower bracket, you have a lot of games to play, it's a very long day. You've got to do it all again to win another championship.
Oh, well, I mean, yesterday, I don't even know if it was MIM. It wasn't our play style. We made many stupid mistakes. We watched the games last night after we went to the hotel. No break at all. We feel more comfortable right now, and it was like, it's very hot in here, and I am very sick as well, and so we have like, yeah, and yeah, so we have like, I have a lot of excuses, but Dignitas played better than us. We know what our mistakes is, and I think we're gonna come back way stronger now. So they better watch out.
There you go, message from Safe. Team Dignitas, you better watch out. Congratulations on the win. Good luck against Team Dignitas. That game is coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, so don't go too far away. More action on its way from the ESL 1 Spring Championship for Battlefield 4.